What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. In the last video you saw kind of a rough plan of what's going on with the JZ. Today we're actually going to be trying to get the engine in the car, so we'll see how it goes. I've done a little bit of the simplifying on the engine, got a couple things like powder coated, new spark plugs, new thermostat, exhaust manifold, turbo, things like that before getting the motor in the car. I had to save up a little bit for this kit right here, which is the PMC JZ to ZF trans adapter kit. So we're gonna open that up and see everything that's in there in order to mate the ZF trans with the adapter kit to the engine. So let's get the Skyline out of here so we have a little bit more room to work with, and let's just jump right into this. It's gonna be pretty exciting. We have a couple things that we have to do beforehand. My buddy Jacob's on his way to help out right now. We gotta do the rear main seal, and then we gotta do a couple things in the transmission to refresh the ZF that we have right here, and then we'll get to bolting the trans up to the engine. Let's clean this little workspace up a little bit, get the Skyline moved out of here, and then we will get right into it.
Oh man,
Karuba? Oh, thanks, dude. It's for the long night ahead of us, though.
not tired.
Yeah, dude. That is not rude. I just gotta push the Skyline out, and then I need to kind of like clean this area up a little.
Sure.
I don't even think I was on it. Ooh. Oh, that's kind of lame. Black Friday.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Exclusively Black Friday. At least they
I
said.
had to wait for a deal.
Dude, yeah, literally. I saved up for 8 months to buy this.
Zucks.
Yeah, that's nice. This is the heavy board. This is the breaded butter. So we have, I think, everything for the most part laid out. We have our clutch, pressure plate, some engine mounts, 2J NA starter that I had to drill out the threads on. So I think it bolts up with some new hardware that is too big, so we had to bore those out. That's good to go. We have a new spring and a pivot ball. A plastic one, right? Is that the move? Yeah, that's the move. Slave cylinder, throwout bearing. I think that's it. Gummy bears.
Yeah.
That's an essential. Auto flex plate with the spacer. I think you only need this one, not the other. This guy. You only need that one. And then the flywheel. Let's get a little showcase of the flywheel action. You only get one shot. Don't fuck it up. Oh, wow. Damn.
Look at that, John.
Thing is pretty. And I'm guessing that's just probably hardware.
Probably.
Cool. Dude, beautiful.
Yeah, that's nice.
That is amazing.
Wow.
It's like one of the most expensive things on that turd. There's probably some stuff in there.
Potentially.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Literally, the other part. Literally the adapter plate.
Wow.
To JZ. No shit, dude. Of course, BMW. I'm a BMW kid now. I think we should have everything. We got our ZF trans right here. Need to replace some of the stuff in the internals. We're about to do the rear main seal on this as well, which I have a little trick to make that go a little easier, that way you don't have to drop the lower pan or take this whole retainer out or anything like that. So that should go pretty smooth. About to get this thing there. We don't have fifth. We don't need.
We'll
fifth,
do that
but we're
later.
going. Yeah. So I think the game plan is to, dude, I should put on gloves now. This is happening. Like drill into this, and then they thread this in, and like this basically like pushes off, like, and it pulls the seal out. So I guess let's just wing it. You know. You can either, yeah, like pry and yank this out. It just kept like sinking in farther, but we found a bolt that works, and I think,
Yeah, dude.
I think this will just pull out. Yep, perfect. So it's not exactly the way that we wanted it to work, but it worked enough to get some leverage on it and leave the retainer in there. So Here's the new OEM 2J rear main seal. Always a good idea. May as well replace it. So I think what we decided, right, was to go grease the inside of this. Obviously not the outside. Yeah. So should we clean up like the crank part?
Clean the crank.
But that one video did say that the factory service manual said to grease the inside with like multi-purpose.
Yeah, empty grease.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's what people said, just try to get it as straight as possible, and then that it like seals itself in. This way you don't have to do anything around the outside. As far as getting it in, I think obviously just straight as possible. Some people put like a piece of wood across it and like hit like kind of like all sides of the wood, and you just want it flush because it will go past, like you don't want it recessed obviously, but just like flush with this outer edge of the retainer, right? It's hard to like hold the old seal, and I think we get it. Rear main is done. Got it nice and flush with the little retainer. Looks good, nice and clean. One less thing to worry about. I think next is that little, oh, you know what's in that other box is there's like a crank extender. Yeah. I think that's what we need to do next. That, and then the like auto flex plate with the spacer, and then the flywheel. Okay. So these big beefy bolts, there's 5 of them, and then there's 2 a little bit skinnier ones. Big boy, there's 5. Little guy, there's 2. The 2 go on the bottom, these 2. All the other 5 go up top. I already deleted like the crossover coolant pipe that goes all the way around here and goes to the back of the water pump, so we don't have to worry about clearancing that. So should just be good to go to bolt this directly on here. I think it's like this.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's like that, because look at the bottom too.
Looks good to me. Got the extender one there?
Yeah, I already got that.
Very nice.
There we go. They don't include any instructions in the kit, so we looked it up. It's actually on PMC's website, but these top ones, they're 19 millimeter and they are 80 foot-pounds. Yes, the top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're 80 foot-pounds, and then these bottom 2 are 17 millimeter and those are 46 foot-pounds. So, and then this I just hammered in. It's like a crank extender. Hammered that in with a mallet. I think we're ready for the flywheel. And I think, so this kit doesn't come with a clutch alignment tool, and I kind of assumed this guy was gonna have one because he's a fucking BMW fanatic.
5-speed.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we're poor and we don't have a 6-speed, so he can't come in clutch. Okay, all right, well. So we need a clutch alignment tool, so we're kind of at a little bit of a standstill, but we're gonna do what we can. I think we can get the flywheel on, and then we're kind of stuck, but we're gonna try to see if somebody in town has one. Okay, so spacer first, and then auto flex plate with the welds facing out. Explain what's going on here.
We're doing some backyard stuff. Gonna try and see if it'll work.
Backyard stuff. Wait, that's huge.
That's what she said.
That's not gonna fit. Oh,
so I actually did it a little too big.
Honestly, looking
Pretty promising.
This is what happens when the $1,500 adapter kit doesn't come with the $3 clutch alignment tool.
Thanks Adam LZ. No, really, man, I didn't need that. Oh, get that thing away from me. So, I can't tell you how many wraps around with electrical tape that was, but It was a few.
Around some random socket that we have.
Well, I don't know what size it is. I covered that up.
But
it
that might
goes
work.
in.
That might work.
I think it's
snug
gonna
enough
work.
to align it, maybe.
And this is pretty somewhat snug. If you think about like the plastic alignment tools that you get, they're not snug in here. They're like, they fit kind of like that.
It just like holds it in place temporarily until you get the input shaft to line up.
So
We'll give it a shot.
give it a shot.
Pull on me a little. There you go. There you go. Come to daddy. Come to daddy. Keep it straight.
I don't know how this works, but I think I'm just gonna start taking it apart.
Dude, that's as good as any clutch alignment tool you're gonna get in the store.
Yeah?
Yeah. So what you do is you hit it out from the back with like a screwdriver or something.
Nice. Like that?
Scuffed. Yep.
Okay. What's that?
Sick. What?
That black?
That's just dirty.
Oh.
Dirty plastic. It's gonna be hard to get in. What you should do is take a socket like this guy right here and this extension. Just slip it over it like that and tap it in.
Tap, tap.
Keep going. We're almost there. 6 collars ahead of us, Jimmy.
Kinda
You
sounds
got
like
a. There you go. You hear the sound change? Thing on this side too.
On both
That's
sides?
where your slave cylinder is gonna.
Just literally just like a little bit.
Yeah. Just a wee bit.
Nice.
To like, yeah, bend that because it's pretty. Yeah, dude, that was fast. This is gonna ride on there. You have pressure from your slave cylinder,
Oh,
and
yeah.
look at that. That's like it only goes in one way to the fork, just like that. So you can put a little bit of grease here and a little bit there, and then just a little
On
bit.
the fork itself?
Yeah. Where the metal's shiny.
20 minutes later.
Are we just gonna go for it, man?
Come on. Give it to me. Okay, hold on, pause. Try number 1.
1 hour later.
We gotta get it.
This is it right here.
Okay, I'm gonna assume position. So hold on.
I feel nothing. There's no tension.
Oh,
Brother!
Here we go.
Brother! Keep spinning the
I am,
tail
I am.
shaft.
Whoa, what are you doing? Whoa!
I feel like it's going in a little bit.
The next day.
So we have the trans on now. We were kind of fighting not having a clutch alignment tool, so we kind of made our own with like an extension and a socket. This worked like enough, obviously, to like mate it up, but it's not ideal. Nobody in town that we knew of at that time, it was like 9 o'clock at night last night, nobody had a clutch alignment tool that we could borrow. But we basically made it work. I don't know if PMC changed their plate design over the last 2-3 years, but a couple of the guys that do the JZ to ZF adapters, they have like a different style plate. These ones have like 2 different orientations. It's like a 15-degree rotation difference, and I thought that mine was maybe rotated off, but this is like perfectly straight up and down with the engine. Whereas if you chose the other bolt holes, it would be shifted, and this whole thing would be kind of instead of straight up and down. So I don't think that that's the problem. I don't think it's shifted. However, the other guys that I've been watching the videos, they have 3 different hole orientations, I guess, and this one only has 2. So they must have changed their plate design or something, because the plate looks a little bit different. It probably also depends on which transmission you have too, because a couple of the bolt holes line up just fine, like this one, this one, this one. I think there's 1 or 2 down here, and then 1 on the bottom. What if you look at this
A few inches later.
at all? That ear doesn't line up at all. And the whole starter situation is kind of interesting, because one of these bolts goes through, the top one just goes in just fine. People say that you have to bore out and drill out the existing threads on the starter, and then you just put the bolts through from the front. But this one, yeah, that'll work. This other one, the bottom, it's kind of hard to tell, but this one on the bottom does not line up either. On PMC's website, maybe they updated it since the other YouTube videos that I've seen. On PMC's website, it says that you have to drill into the block with, I think it's like a 12.9 to 13 point something millimeter drill bit. 1/2 inch is like 12.7, but they want you to drill into the block and insert this like helicoil thread insert. So I guess that's what we're gonna try to do. Everyone else says that they just drill out the starter threads and then it bolts right up, but that's not the case for us, and this thing is on there straight. So I don't know what PMC did, but they don't come with any instructions. So we're gonna see, I guess, if we can't figure this out today, and I'll update you guys with what we end up doing. So I got the trans off. Might be a little bit easier to see. This bolt right here, I believe, yep, is the starter bolt, and then this one. And it looks like this one right here is like, you see how the block is basically in the way? Yeah, we need to drill that and put this insert in, I guess, to utilize that, because the block is in the way and the block needs to be drilled. So that's the problem that we're running into. The only other thing that I need to do really quick is actually, I was re-watching videos and I did make a mistake on that. This pivot ball is actually a little bit longer, I guess, that comes in the swap, and it has threads on the back. So I guess we're gonna switch this back out, not for the plastic, or switch this out for the plastic one and find a bolt, because it doesn't come with it. Find a bolt that goes in the back, that way we can push this in and put the bolt in from the back. So we'll switch that out and then get back to this.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Dude, I don't even know where to start. Okay, so last night we weren't able to finish. We got the trans on, finally. We used this little makeshift clutch alignment tool, because the kit doesn't come with one. The $1,500 fucking billet aluminum kit does not come with one. So we got that to work finally, got the trans on, then realized that the starter, wait, where's it? Oh yeah, we still gotta do that. Then we realized that there's no threads in the block for the starter, and it doesn't line up with the plate, right?
Right.
So we had to drill out the block with like a 1/2 inch end mill, right? And like bore it out. Because I think online it says that you want to use a 12.9 to 13.5 millimeter like bit or something. So
12.9 to 13.2 mil.
and that's to get that little insert in, so that way you can bolt the starter in from the front, so it threads into the block. So there is an insert in here now. So we got that good, finally, but we had some complications with that. We need a bolt for this though, because it needs to be shorter. Whatever, there's some interesting things that are going on with that, but we're gonna make it work. So trans is on, you can see. And then we also had to modify this, because in all the other videos that we see, there's like 3 different orientations, or 3 different orientations that you can do. So we only have 2. So this is the right way to put the trans. Like, this is perfectly straight up and down. It's not like we're at the wrong rotation or anything, but this hole was way off. So then again, we used the end mill, right? End mill, and like basically elongated, or like almost like slotted the trans. But we did get this one in, because that's one of the main ones, right? Beamer boy.
There's like 4 main ones for the BMW trans to the BMW block. There's like 4 big bell housing bolts.
And that's one of them.
I wanted to make sure, just for my peace of mind, that those 4 big ones were in.
So we got them in.
So, yeah.
And we got it all fastened up with the assortment of hardware that they give you. So I think we're good. I mean, we got to torque them down and stuff, but. And then we also put the other pivot ball in, because it's longer than the plastic one, so we redid that. So we got to torque them down, and then I think that's it. Oh, we got to do the slave cylinder.
Yeah.
And other than that, I think that's kind of it. So that's the current situation. I also got to get the motor mounts bolted up, but just roughly. I'll probably leave them a little bit loose just so we have a little bit of room to wiggle. But we went back and torqued all these down to spec, which I can put on the screen right now from PMC's website. And I'll also link that in the description. Anyway, so we got the trans on. I think it's ready to go. I kind of have accepted the fact that we're gonna pull this probably back out eventually. There's probably stuff that I'm forgetting or will just be easier to take care of while the engine's out again. I gotta do some fabrication work, so I wouldn't be surprised if I have to take off the hot side again. But we're gonna try to roughly see if we can't get this in the car today. We cleaned up a lot of the harness. I didn't really show that on camera. It's kind of a pain in the ass. We had to go in the cabin and remove a ton of zip ties, ton of connectors, ton of clips to get this whole wiring mess out. That's a single cam KA harness that's been modified for an SR with a standalone ECU. So you can imagine there's just, I mean, everything's there, but it's just a little bit modified. We didn't end up cutting anything, which is good. We have this all draped over. Try to clear out as much room as we can to try to fit this in there. Yeah. So engine mounts are on. We're gonna try to see if we can't just like roughly set this in / what work needs to be done. Shoehorn, that's right. We'll see. Or we might need to hammer some of the trans tunnel too, but this is just a little mock-up, so I'll put this on the time lapse and see what we can't get done. We're about halfway through this right here, but we're trying to figure out the perfect angle of...
This tape's holding really well. I'm surprised.
Dude, that's insane. I don't know how, but we did 2 full wraps. That's the formula. 2 wraps around each chain. It'll hold the engine up. Just trust. Don't do that. Please, please don't do that. We're trying to figure out the perfect angle of trying to get the trans to dip down underneath the firewall, but also the pan is like right above the front core support too, so we're really close. There's like a nice balance to that, and then the like hydraulic cylinder hit the bash bar, so now we gotta wheel this back out a little bit, remove the bash bar. Let's just remove the intercooler too. I mean, I should have already done that, but oh well, we're figuring it out, you know, we'll get it. Just a little brief intermission, and we'll be back at it.
Cue the elevator music.
Okay, so we tried 2 times to get this to angle in there and fit, and I don't think that it's really gonna happen. There might be some way that somebody knows to get this past the stock core support, but a lot of the videos that we've seen, people have like a quick release, like a detachable bolt-on core support that bolts somewhere over here, and they just like pull it off and it obviously gets right back in. So the other thing is, if I need to pull this, if and when I need to pull this, it would probably help to have that done. So we may as well just cut it now. It's kind of what we're thinking. So yeah, I think we're just gonna cut this, and then I'll probably end up welding like maybe a piece of like round tube with like landings on each side and make like a nice detachable front core support. So yeah, we're gonna cut this right now, and then should go a little better. So. I feel like a horrible person and
doing this to this pristine vehicle,
like fantastic at the same time. You know, like that was fun.
Oh my god.
That looks janky as fuck, but I promise it'll look better.
Trust the process.
Maybe I'll get this guy to weld something for me, huh? How's that? You're a welder, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dabble.
All right, round 3. I think we're pretty confident on this one. I mean, there's nothing in the way anymore. We got rid of it. We made room, so here we go. What can go wrong? I think it is hitting somewhere, so we're gonna try to figure out maybe near the starter, or it's like where the adapter plate kind of flares out a little bit. Somewhere down there, I think. So we're gonna try to push it up against the firewall and almost hammer a little bit where it's hitting to allow it to sit right on top of the engine mounts. So. All right, so I think it's ready to lower it down. Yeah, I think it's on the engine mounts. So
We're
should be good. Oh, it's gonna be super dark. Yeah,
mounted. Crispy bacon. Oh, look at that. Woo-hoo! It's coming out.
And the jack is on the trans, so
Yeah.
until we can get a trans brace. Holy fuck, dude! That looks so fucking sick.
It's a little crooked, but we'll fix that.
Dude, that's such a cool thing to see. Oh my gosh.
That's sick.
Wait, we gotta do the honors. Check
Oh,
this-
yeah.
Check this shit out. Dude. That's so sick. Dude, that looks so good. We just made a big cut in the, to drop it in, but hey, that works. Whatever. A trimmy neutron, if you will. Yeah, we'll that's a problem for later, Dude, sick. Thank you so much. This is cool to see. Still got a ton more work to do. Obviously, you gotta start working on the fabrication side of everything, but
Trans mount.
yeah, trans mount. I think, yeah, trans mount, hot and cold side intercooler piping, maybe a intake pipe coming off the front. This is what, 4-inch, 3-inch? 4-inch. We gotta finish up the coolant lines and the oil feed that goes up and over. We're getting a reference from the sandwich plate, but I don't have the sandwich plate yet. I think it just has a 3 or 4 AN.
Yeah.
It's a small AN inlet, I guess you'd call it, and we're gonna get our oil reference off that for the feed for the turbo, and then our drain. You can see the flange down here. That's our oil drain flange on the block. We gotta build the little AN line for that, but I think we just have to cut that. I think. Yeah, we just gotta cut that to length. So we gotta finish up a couple other things first, but this was the big win that we wanted today. Got it in. Now we can kind of finalize everything. We had to also swing the sway bar down because the oil pan hit the sway bar, so we had to just swing that out of the way, loosen up the tension arms. Yeah, just to get it way out of the way for the pan. So, but yeah, got it in.
Numbers like a nerd.